Okay, hello my friends, and welcome to a July and August, a 2-month combination recap. In July, I talked about it before, but I pretty much didn't buy anything, and I went away for 2 weeks, so I didn't wear makeup for pretty much just half the month, so there wasn't a lot to update for July. August has been a little bit busier. I've bought some things during August and tried more things during August, so I figured I'd just wait till the end of August to film this video. I have 1 hour before I have a phone interview, so let's just try to get on through this so I can, be finished before that happens. If you're new to these videos from me, basically I just talk about everything that I bought, tried, loved, and read this month or in the past month. And yeah, let's just get into it. It's pretty self-explanatory, I think. All right, so things that I tried in July and August, most of them were skincare stuff because, as I said, I wasn't really using that much makeup, but I do have a good amount of makeup to talk about. So I have them all collected in this little bag, but I'm just gonna, no particular order. So, in July, I know I started and finished, I finished this in August, but I tried for the first time the e.l.f. Skin Holy Hydration Bounce Back Jelly Cleanser with coconut and aloe. This has a coconut scent, definitely, so if you don't like scented products, this will not be for you. And I think that if you like a really, really gentle cleanser, you might like this. I was not a huge fan of it because I just felt like it didn't really do that much for me, and sometimes if my face was too wet or something, I felt like it would kind of just disappear. I used it up. It was fine, but I wouldn't repurchase it. In a similar vein, this is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Watermelon Jelly Cleanser. I started this in August, so I tried this for the first time this month. And this, honestly, I feel like they're the same product. They feel pretty much exactly the same. And it would make sense because they're both jelly cleansers. But this smells so good. It smells like delicious watermelon candy. So I love that aspect of it and like this more than the other one for that reason. But if you don't like scented products, definitely not for you. And I have the same feelings about this as I did about the other cleanser. It's fine. I'll use it up for the morning time. It's fine, but not my favorite for sure. I also tried this from e.l.f. This is the Oil Control Liquid Lotion. That's very dirty with tea tree oil. This was really great to use when it was super, super hot. It's very lightweight. It sinks into the skin really, really quickly, and it doesn't leave any greasiness behind. So when we were away and just in the really hot months, it's been nice. I like it for that, but I don't love it otherwise as a moisturizer as much now because it is very lightweight. Like I said, it sinks in really quickly, so that could be a positive or negative, but for me, I feel like I want a little bit more hydration to my skin. Also from e.l.f., I started the Holy Hydration Eye Cream. This is a little sample, but honestly, it's been lasting me a good while. This is definitely thicker, or at least to me, it's on the thicker side. You need the tiniest amount of this. I'm really not so sure about eye creams. I don't know if they do anything. And I feel like I hear you should use them. They're a waste of money. I don't know. As someone who suffers from very dry eyelids, honestly, I've found using an eye cream has really helped me. I have really dry eyelids and sensitive eyes. I don't have sensitive skin, but my eyes get irritated by a lot of stuff, so I don't know. I like using eye creams. I've become converted. But anyway, this is affordable. It's nice. It doesn't irritate my eyes, and it moisturizes them. I don't know. Okay, that's my only thoughts. And then I have some minis. So let me just revisit this. I think I had only used this once when I talked about this in my June recap, but this is the Peter Thomas Roth Cucumber Gel Mask. This was a little like Points Perk or something. I've actually used it up, and I feel like this does nothing. It says, let's see, refreshing, coolizing, moisturizing gel helps soothe the look of dry skin with cucumber extract. I really don't feel like this hydrated that much. I'm always a little bit skeptical in terms of like, what do masks do really for your skin? I kind of just like them to, you know, do them and feel whatever, but I didn't feel any type of particular benefit after using that. So I also got another Points Perk. This is the JVN Complete Nourishing Shine Drops. It's basically like a hair oil. It's fine. I actually really like it. I think it makes my hair feel very smooth, and I'm trying to take good care of my hair, even though I hate the way it looks. I straightened it, it looked fine, and then it just flipped out at the end, like randomly. So anyway, please excuse that. I hate the way my hair looks right now, but I don't know. I like this so far. It smells exactly like the shampoo I used to use when I colored my hair in high school. It smells exactly like that, so every time I use it, I'm just immediately brought back. I used to have like the under half of my head was like bright red. Honestly, I miss it. But anyway, okay. I can't afford to dye my hair. And then I also got a little like Points Perk pack thing from Drunk Elephant. So I think this was all that was in there. So let me just go over it. Well, actually, the Proteiny Power Peptide Resurf Serum was in there. I've talked about this before. I like it. I actually really like it. And I feel like using all of these products together, my skin looks really good, but when I tell you I don't have Drunk Elephant money right now, I couldn't even be more true. Okay, anyway. Also in there was the it's best with an E. It's supposed to be Bestie number 9 Jelly Cleanser, apparently with cantaloupe and glycerin. It was fine. It was a nice cleanser. I don't even know what this is full price, but I know that I wouldn't buy it. Also in there was the Be Hydra Intensive Hydration Serum. Again, I really enjoyed this, would not buy it. And then this, and then there's also the Agloy Retinol Oil. So I've been using this as my like retinol product, and it's like an oil consistency, as the name would suggest. And I honestly have liked everything, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to try like some other Drunk Elephant products, but maybe in the future, not right now, will I be buying anything from Drunk Elephant. I also ran out of my makeup remover, like my oil or like cleansing balm or whatever, and I ended up buying the Eyeshadow Eau Thermale cleansing oil. I got this for like $18 from Shoppers, and I was like, okay, great, it's a cleansing oil. That's 500 mils, like this will last me a long time. $18, not bad for that. And then once I started using this, I expected it to feel like a cleansing oil, like an oil, but honestly, this feels very much just like a cleanser to me. So when I first used it, I was like, fuck, like the product isn't what it says it is, and I don't, like, it's not gonna work. But it actually does a pretty good job of removing my makeup. Like I don't feel like it, I genuinely feel like it removes my makeup. And then I will also obviously go in with another cleanser after this, but I'll use it up it'll be fine. It does slightly sting my eyes, but it's nothing that's too bad. But if you, for whatever reason, saw this product and was wondering about that, know that it's not like, I guess, a traditional cleansing oil, but it does work, at least for me, to remove my makeup. I don't know that I would buy this again, but it's working for the purposes that I need it to right now. And we also just bought a new cleanser, my girlfriend and I together, for like nighttime, or at least I use this in the nighttime. We got this from Winners, so it was on a discount. I think we got it for $14, but this is the Boscia Purifying Cleansing Gel. It's good, it's fine. Typically, I like cleansers. Generally, like I very rarely feel like I don't like a cleanser, other than like, for example, the e.l.f. one, but this foams, it's nice. I feel like it cleans my skin. Like, I don't have any issues with it at all. Again, probably wouldn't pay full price for that, but I digress. Okay, so that's what I tried. I didn't buy anything in July. So that's what I tried skincare wise. I'm kind of going all over the place because I wasn't as good at writing down what I bought and all that stuff, and like replacements or whatever. So I'm just kind of thinking in my mind, but I'll get through it all in the end. This is a new thing that I bought either end of July, or maybe I bought this in July but didn't really use it that much until August. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Lock Mattifying Primer. I ran out of the Huda Beauty mattifying primer that I was using before. I've used this once in the past, and honestly I didn't really feel like buying the Makeup Forever one. That's my favorite because it's pretty expensive, and I just wanted something that was more affordable. I think this was like $20, and it's good, it's nice. I don't feel like it has as much of an oil control ability as other mattifying primers, particularly my Makeup Forever one, but I do think that it works. It's a good affordable option, and maybe you want something that's not going to be like super drying, but something that's going to act as a little bit more of a mattifying primer. I think this is a good affordable one. Let's see here. And then moving on to what else did I buy? I also just ran out of my Rimmel Stay Matte. It cracked, so I'm calling it done. It's old and dingy. And I decided to get the Sephora Micro Smooth Multitasking Baked Face Powder. This is the shade 05 Porcelain. I feel like I've heard a lot of good things about it. Again, it's a powder that is more on the affordable side and has a decent shade range. So this is what I end up deciding to go for, and I've used it a couple times. I do really like it. I like that it doesn't have a ton of coverage, and because I don't want that, but it still mattifies my face without making it look super powdery. So far so good. I haven't used it for very long days yet though, so I can't really speak to the longevity wise. Maybe I'll revisit this again at the end of September, but so far so good for this one. I can't say the same thing for this next product. So I just again ran out of the cream bronzer that I was using, and I wanted something that was a little bit more affordable, so I ended up getting the Tower 28 Bronzino Illuminating Bronzer in the shade Suncoast. I wanted to love this product so much, and I don't really like it as much as I wanted to. With this, I feel like I knew that people said it was like overly balmy and like a little bit sticky, so that was maybe what I was more wary of, but I just find that it really does not. Let me prop my mirror up so I can see what I'm doing, but I just feel like it doesn't really give me like any color. Like, it looks like it's gonna be a great color in the pan, but when I actually put it on my face, I don't really feel like it gives me that much bronze. It just kind of looks like really dewy, and it's fine, but I ultimately am using a cream bronzer because I want it to be a bronzer. I don't know. It feels almost like a deeper, like dewy, glossy highlight in a way because it doesn't have very much pigment at all. So I'm not sold on this product yet, unfortunately. Again, I haven't used it like for super long. I've used it maybe 5 or 6 times, but unfortunately I don't love it. And that makes me really sad. And then otherwise, I actually just recently bought yesterday the CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation. I got it in the shade L10. It's what I'm wearing today. I'm running lower on some of my foundations. Like I'm about to use up a good amount of them. So I kind of wanted to try a new one. I've wanted to try this one for a while, and it was on sale, so it was just like, okay. It is a little bit deep for me. Like the shade you can even see in the bottle is too dark. I can generally make it work if you don't compare like my arm shade to my face. But I've only used it like once today, so I can't really like speak to it. So far it looks good, but gotta test it more. I also can't remember if I talked about this before. I think I have, but I've used this more, so I'll give an update. The e.l.f. Soothing Aloe Mist. I've been using it a lot for days when I don't have to wear my makeup for a super long time, and I've been enjoying it. It's a pretty like medium mist in the sense that it's not super dewy, it's not mattifying, it just kind of, you know, removes the powdery aspect of makeup, and I've been enjoying it. I like the sprayer. Also not sure if I've updated you on the NYX matte finish makeup setting spray that I've been using. I've been using this more in July. I can't remember when I bought this, maybe in June sometime. So I'll just give another update here. It kind of got leaked on when I was traveling, so the label's a little bit messed up, but I like it. Honestly, I think it's a good like mattifying setting spray that helps my makeup last longer, but I like other ones more. And I feel like I'm going through this really fast. It's only 60 mils, which I feel like is pretty small for a setting spray, and the packaging is really not doing it for me. So there are just other ones that are also at an affordable price point that I just prefer, but it's fine. The birthday gift that I chose this year was the Charlotte Tilbury one. So I've been using the Pillow Talk Push Up Lashes Mascara. This is in just super black. And you know what? I actually like this. I do feel like it smudges. It's not something that I notice if I'm wearing like makeup like this or do my full, you know, regular face. But if I'm doing a lighter makeup or a quicker makeup where I don't have like heavier makeup underneath my eyes, I do notice that it does smudge a little bit. Not the end of the world, but something to note. The wand is like flat with like little bristles, if you can see. And at first I was like, this is fucked, like how am I supposed to use this? But I do feel like it deposits product and then lets you comb them through. And I honestly really like the way my lashes look. I like the way it layers. I think that it looks really good. You can build it up, and it makes your lashes look long and full and nice. Again, is it anything that I can't get from a drugstore mascara? I really don't think so. And I guess also in that birthday gift, there was a little sample of the lipstick in Pillow Talk. I believe this is the matte one. It doesn't have the name on the actual tube, but I've wanted to try a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, and I mean, Pillow Talk is such an iconic shade. I was like, yes, please let me try it. But it's like a neutral mid-toned pink, and for me, that's really not. If you know me, if you watch me, you know that this lip shade is not my typical lip shade or one that I even particularly like. But I did pair it with Endless Cacao recently, and I did like the way it looked because obviously I like the way everything looks with Endless Cacao. I liked the formula of it. I think it's a really nice lipstick. Is it worth the price that it is? Full price? Probably not, but that's up to each individual. Okay, so let's talk about some cheek products and blushes. Actually, another thing that I kind of impulse bought in August is the Rimmel highlight in the shade Stardust. I bought this because Makeup Missa was talking about how much she loves this. I saw it on sale and I was like, I haven't bought a highlighter in so long, let me buy it. It is a little bit deep for me. It's like just a mid-toned gold, but it is a little bit more opaque. So it is like pretty deep. You can see here probably there's like a little bit of a cast, but if I really buff it in and try to use like a light hand, I can make it work. It's definitely a very, like metallic highlighter. So if you don't like that, you won't like this. She compares it to Cookie from Benefit. I don't feel like I like it as much as Cookie, the formula or the shade, but I do think it's a really nice drugstore affordable highlighter. Okay, hello. So my camera shut off and I've forgotten where I was and what I was talking about. I think I have talked about everything. I don't think I have anything to add to anything that I've said already, so I think it's gonna be fine. I also got I apparently went ham with the points this month, or these past couple months. Anyway, I got a Makeup Forever, a sample of the Makeup Forever Artist Makeup Forever Aqua Resist Graphic Pen because I wanted to try it, and it's just a liquid eyeliner, but it's a felt tip, and I've realized that if it's not a brush tip, I don't want it. It's fine, but I don't like using it that much because I don't like using it with a felt tip. It's fine, it's black, it's matte, but I also feel like it has issues drawing over my powder shadow, like on my outer corners when I'm trying to do my wings, so that's not amazing. It's fine, I'll use it. I would not buy a full size. Okay, cheek products. Let me just update you on some of the cheek products that I used these past 2 months that I bought in my e.l.f. haul. These are just, I've used these bite-size blush duos before, but these are just the new shades that I've tried for the first time in July and August. This is the shade Spiced Apple. I think I talked about this in the shade Lychee in my recent favorites video that I posted, but this is just a nice neutrally light brown with a hint of pink. This is the shade Lychee that I was talking about. This might be a little bit less brown. Yeah, a little bit less brown, more pink. The highlight obviously in these is way too dark for me, so I just use them as like a blush duo. And then I also tried the shade Guava, which is this like coral shade, I guess, which actually I feel like is not quite, the matte side is not quite as pigmented, you can see, as the other ones that I've tried. Not sure if that's just mine or if that's just this one in general, but I do find that the matte side is not quite as pigmented. And then I also used, this is a new love, the e.l.f. Radiant Peach Blush. I think this is like, they call it a glowy blush. This is in the shade Radiant Peach. It's basically just like a blush topper slash super glowy blush slash could be a highlighter depending on your skin tone because it's like just a shimmer powder basically. But this is a blush topper over a corally blush. Divine. It's beautiful. It's like a peach with a gold shift. And you know me and a glowy blush topper. I love. All right. I've tried a lot of glosses this month. I'm not sure if I already talked about this again. Last month, I tried the e.l.f. Lip Plumping Gloss in the shade Peach Bellini. This is basically just a really light, milky pink. And I love this for nuding out any lipstick that I may feel like I want to use. It's a specific look, but because I struggle to find nude lipsticks, I like the milkiness of this. It's not the glossiest gloss I've ever used. I like the e.l.f. lip plumping glosses, but they're not my favorite. I also tried, this was just a free something with purchase, the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme Gloss, and I had really high hopes for this. I feel like I've heard so many people talk about this. This is just like it's just a clear gloss with plumping properties. Maybe there's a slight like sheen to it. It smells exactly like lip gloss from Claire's. Legitimately, it smells exactly like that, which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like. It's plumping, and it's definitely on the more tingly side of a plumping gloss, but I feel like it's not as glossy as I want it to be. So as a lip gloss, I feel like the formula isn't necessarily my favorite, but I do like it as a plumping gloss. But speaking of beautiful plumping glosses, this was a free gift with the Beauty Bay order that I made, which I will talk about in a second. This is the Beauty Bay Plumping Lip Gloss in the shade Fizz. I'm pretty sure they just have this shade and a clear one, but this is the most intense plumping gloss I've ever used. It's so intense that it makes me feel like, gives me like goosebumps sometimes because it's just so tingly. And it lasts for a really long time, and I also love the shade. So this is a win in pretty much every aspect. I adore this, but if you don't like plumping glosses, you will literally hate this. You will be like, it's literally burning my lips off, okay? But if you like plumping glosses, this is the most intense one I've ever tried. So if you want like this kind of like beigey shade or just a clear, recommend. I would recommend. And then the last lip gloss I tried this month is the e.l.f. Lip Lacquer in the shade Fantasy. This is not my favorite. This is to me like a glorified lip balm. It's just in the sense that it's not glossy. It's really not that glossy. It has a slight shimmer to it, but it kind of, oh my god, excellent swatch. It basically just looks like a, yeah, it's just not very shiny, basically. Like, it's fine. It feels moisturizing at least, but it's not my favorite, like, lip gloss formula, for sure. I didn't pay that much for it, so I'm not, like, so upset. But if you were wondering, not the best affordable lip gloss I've ever tried. All right, and now let's just get into the palettes that I bought. So these, I made 2 orders from 2 different places using some money that I got for my birthday because I turned 25 at the end of July. So I've already done a video with this. You've already seen the Blend Money Primal palette. I love it. Personally, I feel like, I don't know if I like this more than the Surge, but I really, really like this. I think these are the best shimmers that Blend Bunny has ever done, and I'm excited to play with this some more. I will link my first impressions to this down below. I also did eye swatches, and I will do a 3 looks 1 palette eventually with this palette. Another palette that I bought, I made an order from Beauty Bay, and you will already know if you watched that video that I bought the new Mood palette. Honestly, was so pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoy this palette. I like it so much more in person than I did from looking at pictures online. And yeah, I just love it. I really, really love it. I'm excited to use it more. Also, from Beauty Bay, I bought the Techna Days palette, right? Yeah. Mostly just because, again, I love Beauty Bay's formula and I love how the shimmers looked in here. I like the colors. Not by any stretch of the imagination necessary, but I was like, well, I'm making an order, I'll get it. I also mentioned that I bought, this was like $13, so I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. The Nikki Tutorials and Beauty Bay palette. I mean, I actually have always loved the outer packaging of this, particularly this side. I really, really like it. And then this is what she looks like. So upon swatching, actually, have I swatched this yet? I don't think so. So upon just looking at the palette, I think the shimmers look really nice, honestly. The mattes, not sure, but I'll probably do a first impressions using this soon-ish. I think you can still get it. I think it's just getting discontinued. So hopefully you'll still be able to buy it when I get around to making that video, because I think for $13 I'm happy paying that for that palette. And this was also on sale for like $14, so I decided to buy the Sample Beauty, the Equalizer Volume 2 palette. I feel like I've heard people talk about Sample Beauty for forever, but I've never really had any inclination to buy anything from them. Then I saw this palette, it was on sale, and I was like, first of all, these are my tones. These are my tones, and I was just really interested in trying it. I don't know, I was like, that's a very affordable price point for a palette like this. The shimmers, I've swatched a few of them, look really nice, and so do the mattes. So I'm very excited to use this as well. I feel like I've heard pretty much good things about Sample Beauty, so I don't know, we'll see. I don't know much about them as a brand. And then I also threw this into my cart as well because I've been so into cream blush and stuff. I got the Lip and Cheek Duo. This is the Disney color collection that they did in the shade Pinocchio Shorts. So I guess there's a lip side and a cheek side, and like the cheek side is matte and the lip side is a little bit like glossier or shimmerier or dewier. I don't know. I've actually tried the lip side on my lips once, and it was a lot more pigmented than I thought it was going to be. But I feel like I'll use just like both on my cheeks. I don't know. It's basically just a red shade, but I'm excited to use it. I haven't gotten around to using it yet. I haven't really had a look that fits it, but as soon as I can. I just lost the sides there for a second. As soon as I can get this on my face, I will. And then I think that's it for the things that I tried and the things that I bought. A good mix of things that I've just had and gotten around to trying, and then newer-ish things. In terms of what I've been loving this month, I've been absolutely loving I've revisited the Club Nebula palette in collaboration with Angelica Nyquist. I just really felt like I wanted to play with this again, and I did so many looks that I loved so much. And then I also pulled out my Kaleidos Flower Punk palette, and I loved the looks that I did with this, honestly. It's always just so nice to pull out older palettes and use them again, and I had a blast. So those are definitely the things that I've been loving. I actually did a recent favorites video, which I'll link below. That kind of outlines all the things that I've been loving anyway in the past like month or so. So that honestly might be a better kind of gauge of, you know, what I've been loving. Let me show you some of the looks that I've done. Just for reference, because I typically do this. Oh my god, I just hit 2,000 followers on Instagram. That's so exciting. Oh my god, anyone who follows me on Instagram, thank you so much. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, so I did a greeny look. I totally actually forgot about this look, a greeny blue look. This was, I did this for Oshiega for my birthday. This was my birthday look. I did using this palette in some Terra Moons shades. This was a kind of like smokier, cool toned purple look that I did. This was a warm toned look with the reds and the purples. I love this one. This was actually a look I did using the Juvia's Place Warrior 3 palette. A really bright green. I really like that. Another smokier look I did with the blues and stuff, the blues and the purples from Club Nebula. And then again, another like warm toned look. I think I did this for my first day of work actually. And then this was a look I did. And then moving on to the Flower Punk palette, this was a look I did using the minty shade. This was with the pinky tones in this palette. Again, another green look. I mean, it's hard not to do a green look. And then another green look, but this was using a Cleona shade all over the lids. So honestly, I've been loving my makeup recently using those palettes. I feel like I had so much fun playing around with them. And so that's kind of a recap of my months in makeup, I guess you could say, for the past couple of months. And then also let me go over the books that I read, because that's what I always do in my recaps. Again, my unofficial goal for myself is to read 3 books a month. And in July, did I do that? I technically did that, I believe. And then August has been just an absolute shit show because I started working and then working again and then trying to get videos up and stuff. The past 2 weeks, I just haven't been reading really. And then I just have been falling asleep at night when I want to try to read. I just like fall asleep reading my book because I've been tired. So not a lot of reading has been getting done. But the first book I read in July was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. My girlfriend is rereading this. This is her book that I read, so that's why there's a paper in here. But my girlfriend loves this book, and so many people rave about it. Like, pretty much everyone is like, this is such an amazing book. And I really, really did enjoy it, honestly, more than I thought I was going to. Contemporary isn't always my favorite genre, but I love the queerness of it. I think it was really, an honest, I guess, in a way, like, representation of queerness and how it's not like, it's tragic in some ways, but in a lot of ways there's also a lot of joy in it as well, which I appreciate. And I don't know, I think it just talks about like fame and celebrity and kind of analyzes that in a way that I haven't personally thought about a lot. And I don't know, I really, really enjoyed reading this. And I also really liked how the protagonist, or I guess like Evelyn Hugo as one of the protagonists, wasn't super likable. I don't know. I liked this book a lot. I read this while we were actually traveling and stuff in July. I read the book The Power by Naomi Alderman. This book I really disliked. Really disliked it. The premise of it, I feel like is really appealing. Basically, I always forget to talk about the synopses of the books. Basically, this just details Evelyn Hugo basically the title to this book explains what it talks about. It centers on a journalist, basically telling Evelyn Hugo, who is like an old Hollywood star, telling a journalist basically the story of her life and the story of her 7 husbands that she's had in a way that has never before been seen. She's never told anyone like this level of detail or had this much personal information and true story of her life shared. So basically it's just like essentially the story of Evelyn Hugo's life, and there's a lot of queer elements to it, and that pretty much sums the book up. This next book, The Power, essentially the premise is that all of a sudden all of the women in the world get this power, essentially of like electrical shock. It's like the easiest way to describe it. And only women have it. They can give it to each other if they don't already have it, and men don't have any of this power at all. I think I understood what the book was trying to do, but I really don't feel like it executed it successfully. It centers on, I think, 4 different perspectives. There's one man and then 3 different women that kind of see this phenomenon, this global phenomenon, from different perspectives and different points of view. First of all, as you can probably tell from my explanation, it's so on the binary. I mean, it was written, when was it written? It was written in 2016, so a while ago, but not long enough ago that I feel like you definitely should have put thought into having an issue that wasn't like so binary, man, woman, or gender. And I just feel like it lacked so much nuance if you're talking about like this kind of an issue. I'm gonna give a little bit of a spoiler here, so if you really want to read this book, just skip until I'm not holding this book up anymore. Basically, the way that this book unfolds is basically like, I think it's supposed to be an analogy to how men are often in power and oppressors in society, and like relating it to like the patriarchy that we experience in our current society, and then having that like same thing emulated with women, where all of a sudden, because women have this power, they're just subjugating men and committing atrocities against men. And I just feel like, first of all, where's the nuance to that? And what's the point you're trying to make then? And I don't, it just felt very odd to me, and it really was not what I thought that, I don't know, it just wasn't what I thought it should have been. And I saw this one review by a user named Emily May on Goodreads, and I want to read it, or excerpts of it. So I'm reading from this specific Goodreads article, or Goodreads review of this book, because I feel like it did kind of summarize how I felt about this book in a really, in an articulate, succinct way, because I am not being articulate or succinct right now. Oh shit. I'm supposed to have my job interview now. Okay, apologies. I was rudely interrupted by my job interview. And if you're wondering how that went, I can safely say that I won't be getting that job. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so I was just talking about the power, and now I'm just going to read parts of this review on Goodreads, because I feel like it really kind of sums up a lot of my thoughts. So it says, imagine if one day suddenly girls developed a strange physical power. They can produce electricity inside them. They can use this power to hurt, to torture, and to kill. A world that is built on patriarchy is suddenly upturned. Being a woman is synonymous with power and strength. Men are the ones afraid to walk alone at night. The female body itself becomes an instrument of power. With obvious nods to rape culture, the power imagines what the world would be like if men, not women, had to live in constant fear for their physical safety. Alderman considers how this would affect a variety of people and issues, from terrorism to religion, and she does this through the eyes of 4 very different people. There's Roxy, a white British teenager and the daughter of a gangster. There's Ali, a mixed-race girl who runs away after years of abuse and finds herself at a convent, revered as some kind of goddess. There's Margot, an American mayor and one of the few older women to develop the power. And then Tunde, a young Nigerian man and aspiring journalist who captures early footage of the power in action. The 4 perspectives are unequal and uneven, with certain perspectives being much more interesting for part of the book and then becoming tedious, and others doing the reverse of that. Some of the characters verge on cliches and stereotypes too. Additionally, the whole novel uses a research book proposal as a framing device. A guy called Neil writes to Alderman with the draft of his work attached, which is interesting, but the book does actually feel like a piece of research at times. I felt like most of the book explored a concept without telling a story. After the initial discovery of the powers and the subsequent effect in the world, the book kind of stalled, and lots of chapters felt dragged out without purpose or direction. Also, some parts seemed a little too simplistic. The notion that Muslim women are just waiting to throw off their clothes, ride in the street, and have casual sex seems like a blinkered Western perspective, which it in a lot of ways does. That's talking about how, in response to this power being, discovered or whatever, women in Saudi Arabia basically, just like threw off their hijabs and started murdering men in the streets. And it's like, I think that speaks a lot to how perhaps to the author's preconceived notions of Muslim women, and then a complete lack of understanding of that religion and perspective. And then she goes on to say, or they go on to say, the power is a real mixed bag full of fascinating ideas, lack of focus, oversimplified male-female power dynamics, and some clever subversive scenes. So yeah, just honestly wouldn't really recommend, didn't really enjoy. Then at the end of the month, I read The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is a retelling of the story of Achilles. I really, really loved this book. I think Madeline Miller's writing is beautiful. I had nothing but a good time reading this. It's a fun read. It's a queer read. And if you like Greek mythology, or just the idea of a retelling of the story of Achilles, I would really, really recommend. Or if you like fantasy, also kind of, esque books, I would really, really recommend that. Not a ton to say other than I really enjoyed it and I really like the writing. And then right now I'm reading The Vampire Armand by Anne Rice. I am slowly working my way through the Vampire Chronicles, which is like Anne Rice's The Interview with the Vampire series. So I can't even remember what number book this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is the 6th book. I'm halfway done it, basically, so I don't want to really say my thoughts on it yet until I finish it. But so far, it's very typical of Anne Rice and the Vampire Chronicles series as a whole. All right, this concludes this video. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. I am really just mentally exhausted today, if you haven't been able to tell, and I need to go lay down, edit a video, and get mentally prepared for my first day of work at my new job tomorrow. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I upload 3 videos a week if you want to stick around, and I would love to see you in my next video. Bye!